No matter how hard Trump acts, he's sensitive. But the tough people that I know who are really tough, and I've interviewed some very weird people, you know who I've interviewed? They don't say a lot. Albert, do you want to be a celebrity or do you want to be a billionaire?
You've ever had somebody that was under you that wanted to be bigger than you so much?
If you can understand that momentum is like a friend you meet that is automatically going to introduce you to 20 people you didn't know before, don't get cocky when you meet those 20 people. I'm not a quitter. Well, what happened today? By the way, I got businesses I'm running. They're my babies as well. I got a wife. I got people that are in the corner with me. If it's not 8 or higher, you ain't getting my time. Keep going and not slow. Whoa. Yeah, she couldn't stop it. It's a bank door. You can't close that door. By the way, you don't want it to lock, because if it locks up, we're stuck here. Good looking guy. You can go party, have a good time. Women are out there like, dude, I'm going to go to Vegas and light it up. You guys are committed to improvement. As long as you stay humble, you stay hungry, you stay committed to improvement. All this, you said rocket, what was it? Rocket loan?
Mortgage.
Rocket mortgage.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of time. He went to everybody and he learned the best from everybody. He was a sponge. And eventually we know what happened to him. You're a sponge. That's your gift. You may not know it. I asked you the question to see what you were going to say. That's not your biggest gift. Your gift is a sponge. You draw. I said you need to learn how to get as much information for people as possible to transfer to you. You're very good at doing that.
Welcome back to Driven Channel. And I'm here with a very important person in my life, Patrick. But David, thank you, buddy. Pat, I just want to jump into it and start with your leadership. You know, like I've seen you from your beginning, I think, when you started your YouTube channel and how you grew the company P.H.P. I know right now you have P.H.P. and you have Valuetainment. Well, what's the most exciting thing that you have going on with Valuetainment and with P.H.P.?
First of all, let me start off by complimenting you. You interviewed me, I think, in Bakersfield 3 years ago.
Yeah,
I don't know what the time was. It 3 years ago? 4 years ago? 4 years ago.
Yeah.
You're an entire different human being from then till today. So good for you on working on yourself and getting to where you are today. It's night and day. So you're obviously also a byproduct of working behind closed doors when nobody was watching what you were doing. And look at what you guys are doing right now with your company. Yeah, I strive off of always having new major enemies and plans that we have. I look at a business plan based on 12 building blocks. Okay, everything's 12 building blocks. A lot of times when we write out a business plan, it's typically all logical. Okay, so meaning you'll write out a business plan, you'll say, here's my plan. Here's who I need for staff and supporting cast. Here's what I'm going to do with this. Here's what I'm going to do with that. But on the emotional side, what makes somebody explode, not grow 10%, not grow 5%, not grow 20%, it's willpower, not skill. You need willpower because things are going to get hard at times. It's not necessarily a business plan. It's your mission. What's the mission for the rest of your life? Business plan, you can make millions. You'll eventually slow down. If it's the Ferrari, the Lambo, the big house, the big jewelry, all that stuff, you'll slow down. The mission, you ain't going to stop. It's going to be a long time. Then you got vision, what the vision is long term. Then you got enemies. You need real enemies to produce the right kind of energy. The right enemy will bring out a side in you that a regular business plan will not. Then you got culture. Then you got dreams. What does dream really look like? What do you want your kids to go to school? Do you want to walk one day and your kids graduating from Penn or Stanford or Harvard, and you're saying, oh my gosh, Syl, take a look at this, babe. Look what we've done.
Yeah.
These are things that you got to be clear on. For me, I'm always adding new things to those lists. This next phase right now with Valuetainment and P.H.P. P.H.P. has grown to, we've licensed over 30,000 agents. We've grown from doing, however many policies we're doing now. We're cracking 10 or 15,000 policies on a monthly basis. I don't think there's been a year we haven't grown. Average the last 5 years, you're looking at a 50% every year growth. And as you get bigger, it's harder to grow as you get bigger because when you get bigger, you're going to have some people that are going to fall off and some people are going to do this and some people, you got bigger numbers to grow. On the Valuetainment side, we bought this building This is a bank vault we're sitting in right now. This was a vault. So at one point, there was millions of dollars of cash here. We're trying to find it, by the way. We've been looking for it. There's nothing that's left. They took all of it, by the way, just so you know. Nothing is left here. But this was a bank. We bought this. This is Valuetainment's headquarters now. We bought another building a mile away from here. That'll be the studios. And then we're launching an OTT. We're launching a bunch of different technology that's going to be launched to the world in the next quarter. By end of Q2, we have some major announcements we'll be making. But we're always going for the next. It's not always what we're doing now. It's always the next thing we're chasing.
One of the greatest traits, abilities that you have is mentoring and growing your people. I notice, and there's a lot of people with big egos, and they're difficult to handle sometimes. But the way I've seen you grow your people, you've developed so many leaders under you. Was that the biggest difference you think for PHP? How it's grown so much?
I don't know if it's the biggest difference, but I will tell you it's one of the hardest things to learn. It's not easy to do because you have an ego, right? You have an ego. I got an ego. We all got egos, right? And you have to realize ego is like crystal. It's very fragile. It's very sensitive. Everybody's sensitive. Some more, some less. But there's not a single soul in the world that's not sensitive. No matter how hard Connor acts, he's sensitive. Yeah. Okay, maybe more than others. Mm-hmm. No matter how hard Trump acts, he's sensitive. No matter how hard Dana White acts, he's sensitive. Biden, sensitive. Trump, sensitive. There ain't nobody that's not sensitive. Now, how do you work with these individuals, right? Everybody's driven by something else. And a lot of times, what drives you may not drive you 5 years from now. Mm-hmm. The red Ferrari you got moved you. Do you really care about getting another red Ferrari today? I don't know. But maybe you want to get a LaFerrari today. Yeah. Now, that may drive you, but that's a LaFerrari, only a few in the world, $3.5 million car. Maybe that you're going to put in your office museum. That may move you, right? Mm-hmm. But maybe family didn't drive you when you were 25. You didn't care about driving. Good-looking guy. You can go party, have a good time. Women are out there like, dude, I'm going to go to Vegas and light it up is what I'm going to be doing, right? I don't know if today you're going to want to go light it up in Miami. I mean, you guys came here with your family and all your guys that are sitting here. Yeah. Did you guys party hardcore this week in Miami? You did, right? I know you did, right? You guys drank a lot of water, right? Yeah, a lot of iced tea. I know she definitely didn't have any drinks, right? She absolutely didn't have any drinks. But you have to know what drives people at different phases. And here's how you and I learn. The way we learn is by asking questions. If I sit there and I ask you a question, one of the first questions I asked you was the following. If you remember this, we're sitting in my conference room and I'm writing stuff on the board. I'm wearing a white T-shirt and jeans. Okay, so you and Syl are sitting there, and I said, Albert, do you want to be a celebrity or do you want to be a billionaire? And you said, no, Pat, I want to be a billionaire. I said, because billionaire, automatic celebrity. Celebrity doesn't mean you're automatically a billionaire. Yeah. Remember that conversation? Yeah. You said, I want to build a billion-dollar company. I said, okay, cool. I said, so TMG, you need an S. Yeah. The plural thing. You're like, yeah, absolutely. The way you moved, you proved what mattered more to you. Yeah. Makes sense? Mm-hmm. You wanted to build a company. Now, what if I talked to you and you would have said, Pat, I want to have more followers than XYZ? Then that's a different strategy. By the way, nothing wrong with that. It's just a different strategy. So I talked to one of my guys, and Sheena's not driven by Chanel purse. If I told Sheena, if you grow by 200%, I'm going to get you a $10,000 Chanel purse. Here's what Sheena will do. I could care less. But if I take one of my other guys and I say, I'll give you a $10,000 Chanel purse, are you kidding me? They'll do backflips. Yeah. They'll learn how to do gymnastics. They'll go learn how to bench press 500 pounds. I'm going to get a Chanel purse. I'm going to pull it off, right? So a lot of times you will learn what moves you. So you got to test a lot. You got to ask questions a lot. You got to be delicate. Some people don't do well with public criticism, but you still got to toughen them up, because if you can't handle feedback in a group setting with leaders, what makes you think you're going to handle running your own office, your own company, while clients are going to give you hate, other people are going to give you hate, and then there's going to be some people that are going to come to your company, and it's one of the hardest things, Albert, that people will learn while they're building a company. You got, out of 100 people, 99% of people don't have anything that they want to do to hurt you. Mm-hmm. Okay? Just got to be careful not to offend them. Yeah. But there's going to be certain people that are driven by envy. You got to be very careful with envy people. When you have people with envy, I lead them in a different way. I don't sugarcoat. I don't buddy. It's a very different way I'm talking to you. I don't go too high with you. I don't go too low with you. I'm right here. The friendship is a very stoic relationship, okay? And I'm going to call out any of the BS that comes out openly in the most stoic, respectful way that's based on data. And I'll say, listen, guys, here's what we don't tolerate. I don't tolerate manipulation. I don't tolerate games. Let me teach you the difference between manipulation and persuasion. Let me teach you the difference between spinning and telling the truth. Let me teach you the difference. I will call out that 1 out of 100, not the name, but I will call out all the behavior. Mm-hmm. Then everybody around the office is going to be like, I think Albert's talking about Larry. Oh, because everybody is learning your sign language. Everybody's trying to see who you're talking about. And then I know who he's talking about. You know what? That's right. He did that to me as well. So I teach how some people will use guilt, act like a victim. You don't even know what I'm going through. You don't know what such and such said to me. You don't know how rough my life was. I tell everybody, let me simplify it for you. We've all been through a rough life. We've all had a tough life. All of us didn't have perfect parents. None of our parents walk on water. Some of you had drug issues. Some of you guys fooled around a little too much. Some of you guys partied too much. Some of you guys have DUIs in the past. Some of you guys got alcohol issues. Everybody has issues. Mm-hmm. So don't act like your issues are bigger problems than others. I'm guaranteeing you, whatever things that's making you lose sleep at night, I will guarantee you, you would not exchange your problems with somebody that just lost a son in a war right now. You wouldn't exchange your problems with that. So let's just get some perspective, and let's not use this guilt, apathy, shame to make others feel sorry for you. That's the wrong way to get attention. Be a leader, be tough, be vulnerable, be open. Let's go do something about it. So managing personalities is an art, and it's not easy, and you're going to screw up many times.
Yeah, when you encounter people that are maybe a bit fragile, what I mean by that is you're a hard worker. Like you believe in hard work, and everybody that's around you is needs to be a hard worker. Sometimes when you move certain people, they get offended because they say they're working hard, but they're not. And and especially in California, it's really difficult to tell people to work hard because California is kind of made for people not to work hard. And then you say you look a way that's not right, you say a word that's not the best word, and then you end up in a lawsuit. Like how do you deal with people that are more difficult?
So for you got a very strong personality, okay? You're super competitive, okay? You got a massive ego, okay? By the way, none of those are negatives if you know how to control them, right? You're capable. Here's what I mean by you're capable. I heard a saying one time, every 90 days, let your salespeople see a side of you that you're capable, that you're disappointed with the people. But if a house has a little bit of fire, it keeps it warm. But if a house has got too much fire, it burns the house down. Yeah. So fathers who are always like, why don't you do this? Kids are like, listen, man, I'm so sick of this shit. I can't wait to leave and go do whatever the hell I want to do. So your leadership has to adjust to know how you're working with people. I simplified it to this point. You know how I said, you said, Patrick, you're hardworking, so you expect everybody around you to work hard. I changed it about 5-10 years ago. Mm-hmm. I was having a conversation with my dad, and I said, hey, Dad, I think this guy's going to be a millionaire one day. He says, no, he's not. I said, that guy's going to blow it up. He says, no, he's not. I said, why are you so negative? He said, I'm not being negative. I said, what do you mean? He said, Pat, do you realize this guy's been coming to our place for 3 years? Do you realize every month he's come to our place, he's gained 2 pounds? 3 years ago when he came to our house, he was 180 pounds. Today he's 260 pounds. Look at his stomach. Just look at, this is how my dad is. Yeah. And my dad would call this guy gordo, always. Yeah. By the way, he called 3 guys gordos. One of them hated it to the point where he never came back to my house because he fears my dad, because he's nearly 400 pounds today. Wow. The other 2 are no longer gordos. We had one guy in a good friend of mine, he would say, look at your butt. You know why your pants keep ripping? Look, what are you eating? Your pants rip because you don't take care of your butt. That's my dad. Yeah. So I would say, Dad, you can't talk to people like that. He's like, but it's the truth. I said, I totally get it, bro, but you kind of like scaring the shit out of everybody. But here's what happened. He said, that guy is not going to win. He says, because he doesn't want it as bad as you do. You have to come to a full understanding that not everybody wants to win at the level that you want to win. You still haven't understood that. He told me this.
Yeah.
I walk away. And then Jennifer, who normally gives the advice a little bit more gentle than the way my dad gives it. My dad is like, bam. Jennifer's like snow. It's going to go boom, 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 and then boom. You don't even feel it. But she gave the advice, her feedback. She said, yeah, babe, you know, that guy you're leading, the way you're leading, babe, just leave him alone. Just leave him alone. Let him be. He doesn't want to be working that hard at this phase of his life. So she was right. I left that guy alone. That guy today is going to make $3 million at 35 years old. He's going to make $3 million this year, net to him. But he needed space at that phase of his life. So I came to a conclusion that I'm going to drive you based on what level of respect you want. If you want to be on the inside with me, and that's not a big group, it's a small group of people, 5, 10 people that are on the inside, the expectation is much higher, okay? Loose lips, whatever announcements I'm working on, whatever projects I'm working on, nobody can know. If I call you, pick up. If I text you, text back. But that's not 100 people because that's not sustainable. But that is 5 to 10 people where we have that relationship. But that 5 to 10 people, if they call me, I pick up. The only reason I don't pick up a call is because I'm doing a podcast like this with somebody. But I could be in a board meeting. And if you're part of that 5 or 10, here's what happens. Hey, Matt, I'm in a meeting. Is it urgent or can I call you back? Pat, you can call me back. Okay, I'm in a board meeting. I'm going to call you afterwards. Hey, Ricky, I'm in a board meeting. Can I call you back? Pat, call me back afterwards. No problem. I give them what I expect from them. So they understood that. Everybody else, you're calling, go straight to message. No problem. I'll call you later on today. Maybe tomorrow I'll call you. So you create standards on how you treat everybody based on the level of respect and based on how they want to be looked at in the company. You want to whoop some ass? Expectations higher. You want to be the face of the company? Expectations higher. You kind of want to make money and chill out and do whatever you want to do? Dude, go for it. There's plenty of space for everybody to do so. So I had to pivot and adjust. And by the way, that's the same exact way I drive my kids. My kids had a jiu-jitsu tournament 2 months ago. These guys have been training for 2 weeks prior to the tournament. So I'm like, shit, I don't know if I should take them or not. So I take them. And exactly what I thought was going to happen, happened. So keep this in mind. There's 300 people in this arena. And my son's name is my name. This is Patrick with David. So fathers are coming to me. Oh my gosh, love your podcast. I've seen your videos, dude, your interviews, you've changed my life. All this, like 20 guys are coming to me. And I'm sitting there saying, next match, John Doe against Patrick Bet David. My son goes up. And
this is the son with the six-pack?
This is the 9-year-old, not the 8-year-old. So the 9-year-old shows up. Oh my God. That kid whooped his ass in 15 seconds. Choked him so hard because he didn't know how to handle a choke. And boom. It's a 3-minute round. He's out. He lost. My middle son loses, but the middle son has temper. And just hitting the guy. I said, Dad, you can't punch the guy. This is Barra. You can't punch a guy. So he's just like fighting, but he has no idea tactics and all this other stuff. So we leave. We get in the car. I said, hey, Teek, what just happened today? He says, what do you mean? I said, what happened today? Did you quit? No. I said, you sure? No. I said, let's go to a restaurant. Call Jen. You can't come to lunch. We're going to have a conversation with the boys. So I took notes on this with what happened at this Barra situation that we had. It was embarrassing, the loss. I said, let me ask you a question. How do you feel having lost in front of 300 people? How does it feel? Tell me. How does it feel? Did you like it? I hated it. Really? What do you want to do about it? Do you want to quit? I don't want to quit. Do you want to go to another tournament? No. So you want to be a quitter? I'm not a quitter. Well, what happened today? By the way, 45 minutes, he's in tears. Beautiful, man. The moment with the father and son. I'm looking at this guy crying. And we're talking. I said, what are we going to do next time? I said, next time you go to a bar and you're being silly, just remember, every time you're silly, someone's going to whoop your ass at the next tournament. I'm not going to be silly. You're not going to be silly? Dylan, how about yourself? Well, I didn't quit. Oh, you didn't quit? No. How about when we were at the convention in front of 10,000 people? Tico went up on stage and he spoke. You didn't speak. You quit. Oh, yeah, I did quit. Are you a quitter? I'm not a quitter. Tico's like, yeah, you did quit. I was like, wait a minute. This ain't about you. You quit as well. We're all humans. I've quit as well. Believe me, I got a lot of situations where I was afraid and I quit. But it's not going to happen to you because you're special. We're Bet Davids. We're going to do something big with our lives. We have a very basic expectation, guys. What do you think your daddy wants you to do? You want me to be a business person? Nope. You want me to play professional soccer? Nope. What do you want us to do, Daddy? I want you to find one thing that you're going to give your best to. And if you give your best, you may have a shot at being the best. Do you know why? They said, why? I said, because most people rarely give their best. They become one of the best because they're talented. Yeah. But if you give your best, the world's one day going to know your name. That's Daddy's expectation. I don't care if it's Hollywood. I don't care if it's music. I don't care if it's sports. I don't care if you're an author. I don't care if you're a lawyer. I don't care if you're a school. I don't give a shit. But you're going to give your best. That's the Bet David DNA. And we're having this conversation together, so I took notes. 9/25/2021 was that meeting when they lost. They got a tournament this Saturday, but you have no idea how nervous I am. This is a big tournament. They've been preparing. Every training, they're so serious about it. So Dylan gave me notes. Dylan, what'd you take away from this? Jiu-jitsu is hard, and sometimes you can get nervous fighting in front of 300 people. Sure. Fighting is complicated, and sometimes you learn in tournaments. Sure. You have to practice more. It's fun. You have to have very good skill set to win in a fight. One of the hardest sports in the world. You have to be calm to win a fight, controlling your emotions. This is Tico. Never quit. Only quit if you have an injury. Difference between fear and danger. Quitting is painful. So I drive Tico in a different way than Dylan, than a different way than Senna. Yeah. You cannot drive everybody the same way. You drive them based on what their vision, goal, and that season they're currently in. Very hard to do. Very hard. But that's what's worked for me.
Yeah. And Patrick, I know you have a beautiful family, big family. You have P.H.P, you have Valuetainment, you have a lot of things going on in your life. You're getting a little bit older. You're not the same Patrick but David that I met when you were 37, 38, but maybe more than that. But how do you keep going? Like, what drives you right now? Because now you have way bigger problems, I'm sure, and you have way bigger battles that you have to battle. Like, what keeps you going, and how long do you want to keep going for?
The vision is what drives me, and that's just not going to slow down. It's not physical, material things at this point of the game. I have the Ferrari parked outside. Preferably, I would much rather drive the F-150. I fit in it more comfortably. I like it more. I'm a big guy. I'm not comfortable in the Ferrari. Jennifer can't stand when we go out on a dinner in a Ferrari, but you get a car like that, you kind of like, we have to take it, babe, or else we're wasting time putting this car over here. Let's take it to dinner, right? Yeah. It's a different phase today. The vision of what drove me goes back to the meeting I had with George Will when I realized why I came to America, why my parents escaped Iran. We went to a refugee camp in Germany. We ended up being here. This concept of capitalism took a guy like you to be in where you are today. You met Syl, you're broke, you got nothing going on, you're not living in Bel Air, you have people that are making money, you've changed people's lives, you and your wife have a great life, you have beautiful kids. Do you have a degree from USC? No. Did you go to UCLA? Did you go to Harvard? What was your GPA in high school?
Same as yours, 1.8.
That's right, 1.8. What happened to you and I? What did we do? So there's a problem though here. See, in football, in basketball, in sports, I use sports analogies because that's what I love, is when you draft somebody, you're drafting them based on their talents in that moment. Mm-hmm. Nobody drafts anybody. These are the stats that you see. Yards thrown, touchdowns thrown, or caught, or ran, or bullshit, like the Cubs. There is no stats that says desire level 99. Distraction 73. Personal bad habits 54. Nobody looks at all that stuff. But that's what really matters. So Brady gets picked 199. He's like, wait a minute. You picked me at one. All you guys forgot about picking me? No problem. People didn't understand Brady's desire level is here. Mm. His vision is here. So guys like that can't stop. He said something yesterday or this week about what's happening with life. And one of the things that's making him consider retirement is Kobe dying. Brady actually said, my friend Kobe Bryant died, and it's making me question certain decisions I got to make with my life, with my wife and my kids. My family's made a lot of sacrifices for me to play football. It's not easy being married to me. It's not easy being my kid. I want to be around my kids more. I want to be around my wife more. That's what he's saying, right, Brady? I keep in mind for 20-some years, he's been on the road, traveling, hotels, all this other stuff. He ain't at a house. 9 months out of the year, he's traveling, all these things that he's doing. What kept him going? Is it another 10 million bucks? Is it another $30 million house? Is it another $500,000 watch? Is it another $7,000 suit? What is it? Is it meeting another famous person? Is it having dinner with another president? Is it another visit to the White House? It's vision. It's I wanted to be the greatest that ever played football. And I wanted to have one more championship than Michael Jordan. He's got 7, Michael's got 6. That's Brady. And you know Brady, when he said he wants to have 7? Do you know when Brady said he wants to have 7? After he won 1. He had 1 championship. I think it was Wes Welker. He had 2 championships. Wes Welker asked him, what's your vision long term? He told Wes when he only had 2. He said, I want to have 7, 1 more than Michael.
I didn't know that.
I just got the chills all over my body.
Yeah.
This guy wanted to be bigger than Michael. Why did he tolerate all this noise? All this bullshit they talked about him? Because he had a crystal clear vision. Albert, you know, for me today, I was having a video with my guys right now. I'm talking to my guys. I've never been more focused. I've never been more clear. I've never been more detailed about who I don't waste my time with, what I no longer have a interest level of 9 or higher in. If I don't have an interest level at this thing in 8 or higher, I don't pay time to things that have interest level of 5 or 6 or 7s in. I just don't have that tolerance anymore. I got 4 kids. They matter to me a lot. I got businesses I'm running. They're my babies as well. I got a wife. I got people that are in the corner with me. If it's not 8 or higher, you ain't getting my time. It's that simple. So vision-wise, energy, mission, you ask me how long I'm going to go. You know, I'd like to get 40 more years from God. I would love if the man upstairs gives me 40 more years. I'm a tall guy. When you're tall, your knees go, your back goes, things like that go. I would love 40 more years of health so I can go on 2 runs. I want to go on a 20-year run in media. I want to go on the next 20-year run, which will be something else. But I want to go on a 2 20-year runs. If he says, listen, man, you ain't as important as you think you are, I'm also cool. Yeah. I've lived an incredible life. But that's what I'm driving for because I got a plan for the next 40 years. So that's kind of what my vision is long term.
One of the biggest things I've learned from you, and once again, I just want to thank you for all the knowledge that you've given me and Syl, because without your input, when we started the whole thing, we wouldn't be here today. Like now, you've seen the things that I do. I fly my people and I fly with my family. But the biggest thing that, or one of the biggest that you told me is you have to cast a vision. And I remember I told you, well, what about the mortgage guy? You know, I have the mortgage guy, and then we started talking about what about mortgage girls? What about TMG? Long story short, our next move is becoming a lender, like Rocket Mortgage, the number 1 mortgage lender. They're worth about $40 billion. How do you do that? I'm already thinking about TMG lending. I already have the domain, all of that. We're gonna become a lender, and then you told me solving for X. So and when I started the company from scratch, I remember you were telling you asked me like, so solve for X, and I was like, well, what's solving for X? And okay, well, how is your company going to be worth money? You know, how is it going to be $1 billion company? And then I had no clue what I was getting myself into. But now by looking, okay, Rocket Mortgage right here, UWM right here, how do we get there? So very important about casting a vision. What made you? Where did you learn that from? Did you ever have maybe like when I was 6 years old, my dad took me to paint with him in Beverly Hills, and that's where I saw Beverly Hills and the red Ferrari, and I casted a vision that moment when I was 6 years old. Did you ever have a moment like that when you were a kid?
So remember the 6 indicators that drive you emotionally: willpower, like to be stubborn, to say I'm not going to give up; culture, mission, vision, dream, and enemy. Right? For me, it's vision and enemy. Okay. I have a long list of enemies and what people have said about me. I save all of them. I have everything that they say behind my back. That drives me even more. I save all of them. And I make a note. And it's right there. And I read it. I like more what was said behind my back than what was said publicly. Because that drives me more. But it always comes back to me. Hey, I was in a meeting, this guy said this about you. Freaking awesome. I'm the wrong person to do that to. Because that's like high octane jet fuel for this guy. Mm-hmm. Don't do that to this guy if you want to slow me down. But that's me. I learned that drives this guy, right? One time we go to a Christmas party and we go to this event, and the guy that's there who my dad helped a lot says something and makes fun of my dad in front of me. And I'm 25, 26 years old at the time. And I said, I'm sorry. he said, he's 60 at the time. He says, yeah, I'm just joking, Patrick. I said, no, you don't joke like that about my dad. You just don't say something like that. So my dad's like, he's non-confrontational. So he's like, Patrick, relax. He'll call you Gordo, but he doesn't like fights. Yeah. Okay. He likes to be friends with you. He said, Patrick, relax. It's a joke. I said, no, it's not a joke. I don't like that. He said, what are you talking about? You don't like that? We're here. We're at the Christmas party. I said, no, we're leaving. He said, we're not leaving. I said, we're leaving right now. We ain't staying here. He said, Patrick, we're staying. I said, Dad, I'm your ride. We're leaving. So I said, thank you. I went to the door and I'm leaving. And we get in the car. You have to ask my dad about the strike. I said, Dad, how much did you help this guy out? A lot. Who the hell is he to talk to you like that in front of your son? Who the hell is he? He can't talk like that to you in front of me. So let me put it to you this way. This whole thing about us being from a divorced family and you're working at a 99 sister, I'm broke as hell right now at 25.
Yeah.
I said, the world's going to know your last name. They're going to have to kill me. That guy's going to eat his words one day because we're going to do laps around this guy's life and his family. And they were the rich family out of everybody. He says, relax, what do you do? I said, I'm telling you right now, you changed my life. You brought us to America. We were in Iran. I've seen how you worked. I've seen all the hard, challenges you've gone through. My job to you is the world is going to know who you were, and the world is going to know the last time you gave me. That's my job. Don't worry about it. I'm going to get to work. Next day, I'm a different human being. Okay? That's enemy. That's vision. That's mission. It's crystal. You're not doing it for an exotic anything. You're doing it because the driver is a different driver that produces a different emotion that lasts longer. If you right now light a match, how long is it going to stay lit? A little bit, right? But if you light an engine for a choo-choo train or you engine, based on all this fuel gas, it's going to light for a long time, right? To get people that are going to drive for a long time, you need different kinds of drivers. You get that long term, you ain't going to stop. And so for me, those were some of the drivers that got me to keep going and not slow. Whoa. Yeah, she couldn't stop it. It's a bank door. You can't close that door. Yeah, that's what happened. By the way, you don't want it to lock because if it locks up, we're stuck here. Just so you know. So leave it open a little bit. Okay. So that's what I would say.
So Patrick, one thing you're really great at also is the way you tell stories. It almost seemed like you were meant to create a movie. What started you with that creative mind and how you tell a story from nothing to, because that's huge in moving people. Like when you say a story, it moves people. What do you think your gifts are? What do you think your gifts are that's one of a kind? Not stuff you learn from somebody else. What do you think your gifts are? I think I influence people. I think I pump people up and I give them hope, and that drives people because I think that's what I'm gifted in. I think that's great because without developing my people, I'm not going to grow. So we all win, we all grow together. So I think I'm really good at pumping people up and influencing them.
Mine is storytelling. That's one of them. And that storytelling part's been like that since I was a kid. I've always told stories because to me, things make sense based on stories, okay? To me, a point can be made based on a parable and a story more based on 9 points or 3 points. Humor makes the mind open. So think about right now, we're talking here, right? The more the audience laughs, the more they're willing to receive your ideas. Mm-hmm. The more the audience gets emotional, the more they're willing to entertain your ideas. And the way you get people to experience those two emotions is through what? Telling stories. Because a story takes you somewhere in your life. The story took you somewhere where somebody said something to your mom. Your mom used to clean houses. And a former boss used to say something to your mom. You went there. And you remember that moment with you and your mom. Stories takes you to a moment that's to you. It's your thumbprint. It's your signature. Because that's what matters in life. My life doesn't matter to your life. It's your life that matters to your life. But stories tend to get people to go to certain moments where they're able to make bigger decisions for themselves. And I've been doing that for a long time. I couldn't tell you that storytelling is like, something I learned. That's something I've been doing for a while. Do you have any bad habits? Plenty. Oh my gosh, plenty. Because you were talking about life. Plenty. And you want to live another 20 years, another 40 years. How do you not get distracted? Like, for example, I was telling you we're with our people. We're, drinking a lot of water and being silly.
So and our people, as part of our culture, we like the mortgage guys, ambiance realty, like our people, they like to party. And sometimes, you know, that having too much fun can slow people down. I don't see you getting distracted with a lot of bad habits. It's you seem like a perfect man. That
You met me at the right time. That's the good news. You met me at the right time. You listen, for 2.5 years of being in the Army, once I got out of boot camp, I would finish a bottle of tequila 4 nights a week on the drive to Nashville, Tennessee, to go to 2 or 3 clubs. And Jose Cuervo was cheap. So you'd get those small little bottles like this. I was broke every month because I was sponsored by Jose Cuervo. If you did a blood test on me, I wasn't O positive, A positive, whatever all these things are. I was Jose Cuervo positive is what I was. That was my choice tequila. By the time I got out of the military, every time I smelled tequila, I almost threw up. Like I've had way too much tequila to even participate in it again. But here's what happened. I watch myself when I'm drunk. You act a fool. You don't act like somebody that's under control. You know, I went to an insurance conference one time, and one of the guys, Jay, asked me a question. Says, Pat, how come I never see you drinking? I said, why would I drink? I said, if I drink, I give too much information. I'm not focused. I don't retain information. I don't learn. I do stupid things. I want to minimize the amount of stupid things I do. I already do plenty of stupid things. I like to minimize it, okay? So you're talking about partying and drinking. When we first ran our sales office, I was an after-hours guy. And there used to be an after-hours in L.A. called Naked. I don't know if you guys remember. I don't know how old you are. What happened? Okay, got it. There was an after-hours in L.A. You guys are too young to remember Naked, right? None of you guys are 40 years old. Yeah, there was an after-hours called Naked. And it was the biggest one, okay? And then there was one they were doing in Vegas called Pimps and Hoes. I don't know if you remember Pimps and Hoes. You're not that young yourself. How old are you yourself?
38.
Yeah, you're 38. So you're 2 away from 40. So Pimp and Hose was like 15,000 people would show up to a massive arena.
Yeah.
If Instagram and Snapchat was around then, you would have found very weird pictures of me online today. Thank God they didn't invent it back then. I was safe. I got away from that era. But that was my life. I was in Vegas every other weekend. And eventually, you know, Bezos says something very clear. He said, regret minimization. You're going to make a lot of mistakes, a lot of them. And we know what mistakes look like. It's alcohol, it's drugs, it's regulation, it's laws, it's women, it's overspending of finances, it's gluttony, it's gambling. It's we all know where these things come from, okay? I was a guy that would go to Commerce Casino every week after my last sales meeting at 10 o'clock, and I'd be at Commerce till 4 o'clock in the morning playing poker every week. Nobody knew about it. I was a guy that would go party regularly. Nobody knew about it. But then one moment I just said, I'm done. Vision is more important. So even till today, I make mistakes. There's a reason why I don't live in Miami. We talked about it earlier when Syl was talking. Miami's number one business in Miami that's exploding is divorce attorneys. Yeah. Go live in Miami. It's filled with distractions. Fort Lauderdale is safe. People here are my age, maybe a little bit older. Palm Beach is a little too slow for me for now. Yeah. This is the right place. So you have to figure out a way to minimize distractions as much as possible. And by the way, it is not easy to do so. It's not easy to do so.
Another thing you talked about was enemies. You have a lot of enemies. Does it get, has it been, have you gotten bigger enemies versus like when you, like in 5 years from now, do you is that always going to happen when you grow a business? Are you always going to get more and more bigger enemies?
But you know what the art is, though? What do you think is the art? Is to not give birth to enemies. You're not looking to create enemies. It's a natural evolution that you get bigger, you're a threat. The strategy isn't to go out there advertising to get new enemies. Yeah. It's not the right move. Sounds good on social media. You act hard. You sound tough. But the tough people that I know who are really tough, and I've interviewed some very weird people, you know who I've interviewed? They don't say a lot. But they're thinking everything. They don't reveal everything to people, but they're thinking. Sometimes, you have few arts that you got to learn. Number one, say somebody leaves you and they betray you. Mm-hmm. Has happened to you, I'm sure. Okay. How do you manage that? Do you trash them publicly? You go out there and say, hey, this guy's such a loser and all this other. I'm not saying you doing it. I'm just saying, is that the right move to make? No. You have to learn how to let people go gently. How do you do that? A phone call. Listen, we're going to miss you. Okay, I know this thing didn't end well, but we're going to miss you. And I wish you nothing but the best. Just be respectful, and we'll be respectful. No problem. That little phone call, okay? And then when you're going places, sometimes you got like 15 things you want to say. Just say 3 things. Don't say 15 things. Because you don't need more enemies to be created. It hurts momentum. Here's how it hurts momentum. Your mind has so much energy to focus on ideas and thoughts throughout the day. If you keep creating new enemies, it's consuming the energy of your mind. I want that energy of my mind to be consumed in areas that's going to help me grow. I don't want to give it up that easily to new issues. So there's an art to not create enemies. The natural evolution is you're getting bigger. People don't like that you're getting bigger. You're a target now. People don't like the fact that you're not doing more loans, more real estate, more any of that stuff. You're getting bigger. Make sense? So you got to try to minimize it. So when I'm saying I got enemies, I don't have enemies because I'm giving birth to enemies. It's just a natural evolution. You know, we're trying to make a lot of those enemies allies as well. Some of them it'll never happen. Some of them it will.
Yeah, talking about momentum, how important for you has it been to not lose the momentum when you start feeling it? How do you know when you have momentum?
Yeah, you just don't be cocky about it. You know, like you start making money, you start winning. And it's so natural to want to brag to everybody that you're winning. We all like that because it's recognition, especially the guys that do the most. Guess what? What's the first thing Elon Musk did when he got his $1 million check? He bought a P1. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's natural stuff. Like, look at me, I'm winning. Look at me, I'm winning, right? So if you can respect momentum, if you can understand that momentum is like a friend you meet that is automatically going to introduce you to 20 people you didn't know before, don't get cocky when you meet those 20 people because you met those 20 people through that one person. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, so let's just say through you, how many people have they met? A lot of people, right? Okay. Have you changed their lives? You change their lives, right? The company changed their lives. Okay. So there has to be a certain level of gratitude. Say one of the guys starts making a lot of money. Albert, you never helped me out. Yeah, you kind of did, So they have to control their ego and their arrogance to not think that they're bigger than the company, et cetera, et cetera. That's not an easy thing to do. So momentum speeds up success, speeds up lifestyle, speeds up net worth, speeds up everything. If momentum is that necessary, you got to be very careful how you treat it when it comes to you.
You've ever had somebody that was under you that wanted to be bigger than you so much, and maybe that person's not here anymore? How'd you deal with that? What's the best way to deal with that?
Yeah. So number one, is there anything wrong with that person wanting to be bigger than me? Okay. That's number one. Like I remember when I flew out to the former company and I flew out to Atlanta and I had a meeting with everybody and I said, hey, I want to know what I need to do to one day be the CEO of this company. I'd love to run this company. I'm going to be one of the biggest guys in the industry, if not the biggest guy. And they just kind of looked at me like as if I was selling them. The mistake they made is they thought I was kidding. They said, everybody says this stuff. You're just saying this because you want some money right now, and then you're going to get back to work. I said, I'm sorry, you think I'm just saying this to say it? Yeah. Have you not seen the signs of what I've done? There's plenty of signs that, like I'm not a delusional guy who's a nobody telling you this. I've been your 4-time, 3-time MVP. This is a real guy that's telling you this. Yeah, everybody says this because they're threatening. Yeah. 6 months after that meeting, I left. So when a guy like that comes to you, you also have to know how to handle that. You also have to know how to have that conversation with them. Is it based off of ego, or is it based off of they want to really help take the company to the next level and one day they want to be the CEO of the company? Maybe you become the chairman. Is it sincere? Is it genuine? Is it a real vision? These are all questions you got to ask. Now, if it's the guy that's envious, envy is very dark. Got to be very careful with envy, because you know what doesn't come with envy? Work ethic doesn't come with envy. Humility doesn't come with envy. Constant improvement doesn't come with envy. Constantly wanting to get better doesn't come with envy. Teamwork doesn't come with envy. Envy is a very dark spirit when it comes. So there's a difference between somebody that is envious of your life and they kind of secretly don't like the fact that you're winning, versus somebody who's like, dude, I've seen what you've done. One day when you decide to step away, I want to be the CEO of the company and I want to be bigger than you. Great, let's go do it together. Yeah. It's you knowing which is which. That's the intuition where you're kind of like, I don't know if I believe this guy versus this guy's very, I've never had a bad track record with this guy. I think this guy really want to do it the right way. So you have to know how to differentiate between the two.
We covered your sales leaders, but what about employees? Like sometimes, you know, you're a man with your importance and it's just growing more and more.
Yeah.
When is there a way that you deal with employees? Is it differently than your salespeople?
Absolutely. So give me, outside of you and Syl, give me your most senior executive you got.
Probably let's say Tony. He's been with us 4 years.
What's his title?
He's a processing manager.
Okay. So you, I don't want to say this on camera.
He actually knows you.
I don't want to say it on camera, but I already know what you need to do, like your next 2-3 moves to take this thing to the next level. But you have to know it from this standpoint. So, for example, talking to creative, okay? Would he be your creative?
Yeah.
Extremely sensitive job. You tell them one thing on the video, they're offended. You have to speak to creative in a different way because it's art. They're artists. You can't talk to creative the way you talk to sales. He's more sensitive than anybody else here in the room, believe it or not. I don't know him. I've never met him. First time I'm meeting him, I've never spoken to him.
But I had a few issues with.
Of course, I remember all of them. Yeah, every one of them I met. Yeah, that I met. But then C-suites, executives, leaders, supporting cast, everybody who is doing their part, they have to know that you appreciate their work they're doing for you.
Yeah.
Okay? And you have to know there's a very big difference between W-2 and 1099. You can't expect a W-2 who is not one of the leaders to be working on Sunday where sales guys get paid commission.
Yeah.
It's a sales guy sells on Sunday, he's going to make $18,000. But W-2 comes to work, he's still only getting that salary. Make sense? So it's a very different dynamic on how to work with sales people, sales executive, your number one salesperson, then your processors, then the leaders, then support, then HR. Everybody's different. You have to know how to work with everybody in a very different, unique way.
Yeah.
You can't talk to employees the way you talk to salespeople. Believe me from experience, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're laughing.
Yeah. I mean, me and Syl have dealt with a lot. Yeah. But Pat, thank you so much. I want to end it with this. Something that nobody has ever heard. Like a story that you've never told to anybody. If there is one that you could share probably for the first time. Maybe something funny, something that happened.
You want to know something? I'll tell you a funny story that happened this weekend. Sam and I this weekend, we go to Miami to go shopping because I need a couple of clothes for events that's coming up. He's already laughing. So we go there. Tico and Dylan go with us. Senna's going to a birthday party. And Tico says, Daddy, I want gelato. I said, okay, that's good. Let's see how you guys behave, and then I'll take you to the gelato store. 5 minutes later, Daddy, let's go get some gelato. Not yet. 10 minutes later, Daddy, let's go get some gelato. Not yet. I don't know how you're going to behave. You know what, Daddy? You're such a fun destroyer. Do you remember that word? He says, you're such a fun... I've never heard this word before. You ever heard fun destroyer? I've never heard of fun destroyer. You're a fun destroyer, Daddy. And he keeps saying it to me. So I'm looking at him. I'm like, you know what, Tico? Come to think of it. You're starting to make me think. I think you're right. I am a fun destroyer. Oh my gosh. Took me 43 years to realize I'm a natural fun destroyer. What an incredible moment, buddy. Thank you for helping me out. And he's looking at me like, what the hell just happened here? So he says, can we still have gelato? No, I'm a fun destroyer. So, no. So he's losing himself now. I said, yeah, I'm a fun destroyer. Sambal, you know what? How many times did I say I'm a fun destroyer? How many times did I say that? Give the number. More than 100 times. I'm a fun destroyer. You know what a fun destroyer does? They never take you to gelato. So, and then next thing you know, 10 minutes, 20 minutes later, Tico's not losing his mind. Daddy, you're not a fun destroyer. You're not a fun destroyer. I said, no, I am. No, you're not, Daddy. Don't believe it. I believe it. No, you shouldn't believe it because you're not. I said, tell me why I'm not a fun destroyer. He says, first of all, Daddy, you always play with us. You always wrestle with us. You always have fun with us. We go to movies together. We do this together. We travel together. You're not a fun... I said, I don't know if I believe it. I think I'm a fun destroyer. I said, Daddy, I'm telling you right now, you're not a fun destroyer. I said, okay, Tico, why don't you tell me what Dylan is? Tell me some good things about Dylan. He says, Dylan is strong. He's a good athlete. He gets straight A's. He's a good brother. I love him. And they never talk like this to each other, right? And I said, oh, okay, interesting. I said, Dylan, what good can you say about Tico? Dylan's like, well, Daddy, I don't know if I can say anything good because he takes my toys. I said, no. You got to tell me exactly what. He says, okay, Tico's very smart. Tico reads faster than me. Tico is this, Tico is that. I said, okay, great. I said, now let me make my point to you guys. I said, be careful what words you call people because they may believe it.
Yeah.
I said, have I ever called you dummy, Dylan? He says, no. I said, why not? Because you've told me I'm not dumb. Am I dumb? I said, no, you're not dumb. But imagine I call you dummy. You think you're a dummy. Oh. I said, Tico, have I ever called you a loser? No. Why not? Because I'm not a loser. Daddy, do you think I'm a loser? No, you're not a loser. But I've never called you a loser, right? And I've never called you a dummy. I said, be careful calling me a fun destroyer because I just may become a fun destroyer. I said, words have power. Be very careful with it. Yeah. You're the only person that heard this story. So there you go, fun destroyer.
And you said something last time about, you told me a story about annoying. You used the annoying word with one of your kids and how it
had to come back and apologize.
And sometimes me and Syl, we're dealing with our little girls and she'll say words like, stop being annoying. So I told Syl the story and now we're watching words more with our kids.
But you know what I know about you? Listen, you have pride. You have pride in your last name. You have pride in being Mexican. Your pride in the company. And this is good pride. Pride like you want to represent. When people have good kind of pride, they're committed to improvement. You guys are committed to improvement. As long as you stay humble, you stay hungry, you stay committed to improvement. All this, you said Rocket, what was it? Rocket loan? Rocket mortgage. Yeah. It's just a matter of time if you guys stay there because you're always looking for. The one compliment I do want to give you before we wrap up. There's certain people that are a sponge. Okay. You ever been to the Ali Museum or no? Muhammad Ali Museum in Louisville? You got to take your guys there. It's a great place to go. Go to the Louisville Slugger Museum. Matter of fact, put a contest together for you guys to go May. These guys like to dress nice. Kentucky Derby is the first Saturday of May. Okay. The girls are going to love getting the hats, the dresses, dressing funky. Syl is going to love it. And get the nice tickets for the top performers. $5,000 tickets. Treat them right. You're going to do it like you do. Then take him to a restaurant called 610 Magnolia, which you'll need to make reservations from now. 610 Magnolia is where all the celebrities, Jordan, Tiger, everybody goes to 610 Magnolia. Looks like a house, but it's the best restaurant. $300 per person. High-end type of a place. So, Ali's Museum, you go there. Everybody who was in the gym that Ali was training with is telling everybody, you and I, a part about Ali. And they said Ali would come and he would ask, who's the best footwork guy in the office, in the gym? Such and such. He would go to the guy and he would only ask him, teach me about footwork. Who's the best guy at jab? That guy. Teach me your jab only. Who's the best uppercut guy? Who's the best defense guy? Who's the best conditioning guy? Who's the best jump roper? Who's the best this? He went to everybody and he learned the best from everybody. And he was a sponge. And eventually we know what happened to him. You're a sponge. That's your gift. You may not know it. I asked you the question to see what you were going to say. That's not your biggest gift. Your gift is a sponge. You draw. I taught this to Tico and Dylan the other day at the restaurant MKT. What's it called? MC Kitchen. I said, you need to learn how to get as much information for people as possible to transfer to you. You're very good at doing that.
My friend, thank you so much.
You got it, buddy. Yep. All the best to you guys.